everyone, this is Stephanie from Little Steffi Big World. Welcome back to my Northern Europe trip travel scrapbook album series. And this is the final book. This is book 5 of 5. And if you've missed the other 4 albums, the other 4 books, the links are in the description below, or you'll find them on my channel. And if you don't want to listen to my voice, if you don't need any information about the trip and the scrapbooking part of this album, there is a video with just music. So I'm just gonna flip through the album and it's just music, no talking. The link to that video is also in the video description below. Now this is the final book. We spent 2 more days in Bergen in Norway, and then we flew over to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, which is our final stop on the 30-day trip. So I've put this last country here, Netherlands. The other books have the 4 names of the first 4 countries that we visited. So that was Germany, then Denmark, Sweden, Norway, and this is the last one, the Netherlands. And this is one of these luggage tags that you get for the airline. We flew SAS from Bergen via Oslo to Amsterdam. And I've put this map from Amsterdam here at the cover, and you can open it up. I actually have a second one inside the book. I sometimes take 2 of a map or 2 travel memorabilia just in case I wanted to cut one up and then I decide it's not the right way, or I want to use the front and the back. There's a whole video just on this kind of travel memorabilia that you can collect and that you should collect during your travels on my channel. I'm gonna put a link for that in the description below as well. So we are on to the final 6 days of this 30-day trip. There were 3 more days in Bergen and then 3 days in Amsterdam before we flew back. We spent the time in Bergen, being the most rainiest city on earth, and we didn't know that, unfortunately. We didn't have the right clothing with us for such rainy days. We had some really relaxing days. We didn't do a lot. We stayed with my cousin and her family. I went on a trip with my husband and my daughter, who was just 13 months old at the time. And yeah, that day we just spent playing. So I just put pictures of my daughter, my cousin, my husband playing, and it went on as well. And so I just put another pictures here from my daughter. Of course, that was a big part of my travel, but you're gonna see a little bit different than that as well. Because it's so rainy, we went on a shopping trip with my cousin, and she bought some rain clothes for my daughter. Unfortunately, they don't have that kind of rain clothes for that age, so she bought something that my daughter could wear when she's a little bit older. But I did take some memorabilia from that shopping trip. Like I bought a little date stamp. Actually, the date stamp I'm using here for this album. So I've kept that piece of the packaging. And we also had a little coffee break, so I kept the tissue. And this is the floor map of the shopping center. It's a really big one. Destination Lagunen. It's really big. So I just kept this floor map. We spent quite some time there, lots of talking, lots of walking around, just having a look, because Norway is quite expensive, to be honest, in comparison to Germany at that time. You know, it depends on the currency. It was really expensive. We didn't buy a lot of things. It was just to spend some time outside the house. And then the next day, while my husband and I, we were packing, my cousin just spent some time with my daughter, watching a performance of her daughter and just playing with some more. So I just put this rainbow colored background here, which I like very much. It took quite a while to figure everything out, which goes in what place, and if I wanted to use that, then I've put vellum here and rainbow hearts, so it's all this rainbow theme. I really like it. It was a very relaxing day, a relaxing morning before we went off to the airport. So I just put some more tags. So I've put 3 in here because it was the 3 of us, but I had somehow 4, so I put 1 there. And this is from the sick bag, you know, this is a sick bag from the plane, so I just took that as well with us. We were very early at the airport, and my cousin and her daughter didn't stay with us, you know, they would have to pay for parking, and so we had some time to kill before our flight would depart. And our daughter slept. This is actually not our buggy. We had to give our buggy to the bag luggage, you know, but we got an airport buggy to stroll around, you know, until we reached the airport. Not the airport, the plane. So I have this big DIY envelope. I've got several of those in the other albums as well. There was a pack of 6, so 3 big ones and 3 small ones. And I used this big one. You can DIY them. Just stamped here. I did a lot of stamping actually. There's a lot stamping here in the background as well. This is stamped and fussy card. You will see a few more process videos on some of the layouts on my channel. So from each book I've got at least one scrapbook process video. So there is just our tickets, which is on thermal paper, and I'm really worried it's gonna fade away over time. You're not gonna be able to read it. I've got the luggage tags here as well. I don't know, I didn't do a lot of journaling. It was just killing, you know, waiting time, just staying at the airport until we had to depart. So we had 2 flights, as I said, from Bergen to Oslo, and then just a really short stopover, and then from Oslo to Bergen, we're at a SAS as well. And this is the headrest that we got, so I took that with me. So this is just a little bit decorative to hide this. It wasn't fun. It was no fun for my daughter because she was sleeping in the waiting hall before we went on the plane. She was awake during the flight and she didn't like it. It was quite a hassle to keep her, you know, in a good mood, but yeah, well, it wasn't too bad because the flight wasn't too full. We had a whole row to ourselves and it wasn't a long flight, so everything is okay. So this is just a picture from the airport in Amsterdam. We just thought it looked kind of cool, so I just put it in here. I've used my hole punch, and this is from the electric buses. My husband is into electric cars, vehicles and stuff, so he found this very interesting, took a picture, and I thought, yeah, that's something you don't see everywhere. So on the back there's just some coordinated pattern paper. I have a little pocket here, and this is actually the same map that I have on the cover. It's a map of Amsterdam, of course, from the hotel where we stayed. So this way, having it in a pocket, I can completely open it up and have a proper look at it. I use this map quite a lot to navigate us around Amsterdam, but my husband and me, we have been to Amsterdam before. This is just the keycard holder of our hotel, and this is just the map of the city bus of Amsterdam, so with the different routes where the buses and boats are running with prices and attractions. So on the first day we drove by bus into the city center, and the first stop was to a grocery store. And at the grocery store you could get this, you know, like for packing your buying. So I just thought this is so cool. I like the pattern, and I took a really big part because I didn't know how I wanted to incorporate it in my scrapbook, maybe as a background, or I was thinking maybe to use it to do the cover. In the end I just put it like this in here. It just reminds me that as soon as we got into the city, the first stop was to a grocery store next to the Museumsplein. So we just took a picture in front of the Concertgebäude. So yeah, this just really weird morning because we had a fire alarm at our hotel in the middle of the night. And it was a budget hotel, so our daughter and me, we were sleeping on the lower bed, and my husband was sleeping on the small upper bed. And because of the fire alarm in the middle of the night, it was all dark, he tried to get down as quickly as he could. He hurt himself really badly at his back and his upper leg and stuff. So it was a weird, yeah, we were tired a little bit as well. So this is just from our tickets or public transport tickets to get into Amsterdam. I've put it here in this small DIY pocket that I decorated. There's a lot of stamping here, some stitching. If you've seen any of my process videos for this album, I did a weekend long stitching session at my friend's house to get most of my layouts stitched. So this one for example is stitched over there. So we went to the food market hall. So this is the mini card that I picked up from our hotel about this. And when we handed in this, we also got a little bag there. It was nice food, really great. We loved it. There was a veggie burger and veggie fries for my husband and dim sum for me, and of course Heineken. If you've seen any of the other books of this trip, we drink local beer or the national beer, or you know, that Swedish beer, that Danish beer, and that Norwegian beer. And this is of course the most known Amsterdam beer. So we just had to have it. And I kept the coaster here as well, just hole punched it, so it's in here, so I like this very much. And there's another picture, it's the same food, just with my husband. My daughter was sleeping, so we could have our lunch quietly or in peace. So after that we had some stroopwafels, very famous in the Netherlands or in Amsterdam, and this is the packaging of the stroopwafel, which were really good. And it actually goes like this, you know, it closes like this, and then the stroopwafel is in here, you know. So I kept the packaging. We actually ate 2 of these packages, full of calories, really nice. I put all these hearts, was really good. There was a shop next to the market hall, or within the whole complex, which is recycling cycles, you know, bicycles. Of course, there's a lot of bicycle riding in Amsterdam, and it was just a really cool shop. And my husband likes to ride the bike. I hate it. Anyway, we went to Heineken Experience, but we didn't go in. There was a massive queue. It was incredibly long. My husband just wanted to get in. He just wanted to get a shirt, a Heineken shirt. He didn't find one in the end, but we've been in there when we've been there years before, so we did all the touristy stuff back then. So we just had a stroll around Amsterdam, and we went to the Waag. I think it's part of the wall, something, part of the old wall, and so we had a little bit of rest there. And we just walked around, just took some pictures. This is, for example, from the St. Nicholas Basilica and just from the Grachten. And it was just, you know, just having a nice stroll around and just enjoying the atmosphere, just relaxing, no big sightseeing stops and doing stuff. So there's also a Gogh Museum, which we didn't go in, but we went to the shop. And we really like this bunny here, so we just took a picture. Maybe we'll get it at some point. I just love this bunny here, really a lot. So the next day we had a really slow start into the day. We arrived at about noon at the Rijksmuseum garden, and we just spent some time there at the water play and just exploring that before we went back to the food market. So I put another mini card here, and this time I had a Fenton bowl, which was really nice. We had some Heineken as well. My husband had some veggie fries, and we had some dessert. So it was just well, a lot of eating there. And then it was raining. It was raining every now and then, so we just walked through the streets, and then it would rain. We would go into a shop, and we bought some clothes for our daughter because they were on sale. So just instead of 7 euros, it was 4 euros, and instead of 5 was 1 euro. I just put it there just to remind me. Oh yeah, it was raining, so we didn't do a lot. I didn't take too many pictures, but we spent the day in the city because this was the final and only city sightseeing stop that we really wanted to do, because we missed it the last time we were there, and that was to go into the Anne Frank house. So this is just our tickets. and yeah, it's gonna fade away after a while as well, so I can just take it out. I have it digitally, but yeah, we had the entry very late, I think at about 5 p.m. and of course you are not allowed to take any pictures in there, so I just have this mini card from the museum because it was very dark and cloudy. While we were staying in line, it just dropped every now and then, and as soon as we got into the building, because we had pre-booked tickets, so we got in as soon as our time slot was up. We got in and then it poured down. Oh my god, it really was really bad. So I don't have any pictures from inside because it wasn't allowed to take pictures, and I don't have any pictures from outside because it was really bad weather and I was afraid of getting wet and getting my smartphone wet and everything. But it was unforgettable. I'm really happy we went in there, although it was very crowded, and instead of taking 1 hour to go through, it took us 2 hours because of the long queue, because we had to wait for everyone in front of us to get through. But I would recommend going there. It was really good to see that, to have the feel of what it's like to be in a real quarantine because your life depended on it. It's not like we are living now in 2020. Of course, we should stay at home because of that damn virus that's out there. But Anne Frank really had to quarantine because of her life. Yeah, her life depended on it. Okay, so in the evening it was back to packing, and the next morning we had a slow start and we packed some more. So I just had some pictures of my daughter while we were still in the hotel, because our flight back home was a little bit later in the day. So we took the bus, the free bus from the airport hotel to the airport, and this is just the last selfie of us with the I Amsterdam sign in the back in front of the airport building. So yeah, this is saying goodbye to our trip, that last day. We flew with earrings, so I have this headrest cover here as well. It's actually pretty heavy, and I was a little bit I felt a little bit guilty of taking it, but I really wanted to have it like with the other ones. And this is just in the plane. She wasn't happy, and this is a little airport play thingy in the airport itself, in the building, so for the kids to play pilot and stuff. So I took a sick bag again, and I've put our luggage tags and our printed tickets in here. It's all gonna fade away after a while, so I do have it digitally, but for now it's still good. It's still nice to look at, so it's in here. And this is when we arrived. When we arrived back home, this is the bus that took us from the plane to the airport building. And then from there we had to take public transport to get back home. So I have again such a small DIY pocket here, and it contains my journaling, so you don't see it on the layout. And this is just the tickets for us to get back home. So it was a long trip. It was an amazing trip, and we did a lot more than I thought we would be able to do with a little toddler. We didn't know how well she would take it, and she did really well. And the most important thing for me was also that my husband and me grew back together to a team. You know, we were a really good team before our daughter arrived, and then she, you know, rearranged everything within our relationship, and now we found a way back together. And this is what I wrote in here. It was really important, this trip, to me, because we just had to find a way to really, you know, get along. We've been together for 30 days, 24 hours a day, you know, not one is going for work, you know, and one is going just for a stroll or doing whatever. We had to stay together to get this done, and we had an amazing time. So this is just the last page stating this, just a little bit of journaling of me. Normally I don't do a lot of that, but I just wanted to write that down, what this meant to me. So I have this big pocket that I made, and it contains my travel journal. This is the one I took with me, and I wrote every day what we did, how we felt, and what I thought about it. And you'll see that in my process videos, because for 30 days I don't know what did we do on day 14 and what happened after that, and you know, you just forget. We just went there a year ago. I finished this just a year after we've come back, but I still forgot so many things. So I'm so happy I have this journal. And I have some more memorabilia in here, some things that I didn't want to incorporate somewhere else, and it's all this kind of paper printed that's gonna fade away after a while, so I'm just gonna throw them out after a few years probably. The only other thing I have in here is all our expenses. So I didn't want to have that in my journal, so I have it separately, and I just write every day what we've spent. And if you've seen the very first book, in the very first envelope, there is my budgeting, my planning, and where I wrote down what we would spend probably each day, but we spent quite a bit less than I estimated. So for us it was also financially a success, let's say, because all these memories, what we learned, what we've seen, and having this time together as a family. And you know, now a year later I appreciate these memories, this freedom to travel without fear, or not that much fear as I'm experiencing right now. I'm so happy for this. I'm so happy I managed to do all this scrapbooking. I have these memories on the shelves now. I looked through this with my husband, and I hope this gave you an idea of what you can do as well. It's worth doing your travel scrapbook to keep those memories alive, you know, and not just having the pictures on your hard drive and your travel memorabilia somewhere in a bag under your desk, or somewhere, you know, just rotting away, just dusting. So yeah, thank you all for watching this. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to my channel for more travel scrapbooking, I'm going to be doing a few smaller projects before I jump into the massive, really big Australia album with over 800 pictures printed that I want to incorporate. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe and scrapbook on. Take care. Bye bye.